There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We touch it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Calling out people who willing to serve. The blessing that time and the efforts are rest. The brothers giving us here and the promise of them. The work with my life without fear.
I lyrical
Master.
Clay Paris, who make you, I can't ask you to be menu. Say my journey, Tina can ask my jamo. And you no money, the more I get you. And you love the more I get you. What is
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grandbaza.
And I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I don't get it now ya to money. That's the thing, and I don't get it now. Cause you work on my ya to money. Yeah.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grandbaza.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We touch it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Calling out people who willing to serve. The flesh, the time and the efforts are rest. The broadcast we giving are real and the promise my best. To work with my life without fear. From Grandfather Nima to Lufa, from Riverside to Raji to Chide, from Grand Crew, Bombing, Kidman, Montserrat, to San to Backwalu, from Maryland, Bonkan to the Mikey B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa.
The Sktv, it is the best in Liberia. Sktv, it is the best around the world. And Sktv, we are the best whatsoever place you think you are, indeed, because we bring you out of the happening, we bring you out of the play-by-play, we bring you out of the news, we bring you out of the happening of the day. And for a matter of fact, we always true to ourselves. So that's why when we come here, we don't what you call, the kind of buy and blow and all the kind of, the kind of slangs or the kind of talk, But again, we speak truth to power, and that's our strength, no matter what the situation is, because we understand that life is not easy. The power that be, the people that have the money, they want to control things, they want to control the world. Everybody just want to do things, the way they think they want, because they don't care. The reason why we are suffering today is because feel good, greeted group of people, these greeted group of people that take millions of dollars, keep it into their accounts. You keeping millions of dollars into your account, for example, and you have people struggling, people suffering, even the religious people, they have the money into their account. There are so many accounts. They have schools, they're running so many faith-based schools. They have millions of dollars, but people are struggling. So that tells you that God created earth for all of you struggling the way we are struggling today. But because when you have a bunch of savage, greedy people who don't care about themselves, they don't care about other people, then there we go. So folks, good evening. Welcome to the Friday edition of the Sktv show. Today again, we're back. As usual, we always say that the show will be hot. The rest of the team will be here. Please give us a like, comment, and share, so that at least we can know that in fact that you're here with us. Those of you who are joining us today, we'll have Dr. Mohammed Sharif. I think for the second or third time on this platform. He hasn't been around with us, but he will come here for some minutes, 30 or 45 minutes to speak on the young people, making a new generation of leadership, a new pathway for Africa's development. So Dr. Mohammed Sharif, legal and public policy expert, will be here with us this evening, and also member of the ANC, right? Yeah, the member of the ANC will also be here with us to talk about the pathway for the next generation, where we heading to. It's not easy though, because when it comes to leadership, so people share the show. Yeah, share the show. The show is really interesting. More will soon join us. Mr. Connor will soon be here with us. And Mr. Dollar also will be here with us very soon. But let me see quickly, no time to waste. We don't have lots of time. So let me bring Dr. Mohammed A. Sharif on. He's already on. I don't know why he's having, but again, he will show his we can always say his morphology. Yeah, the BB English, yeah, it's not easy for us to come up we put it in the simplest form for our own man and for people. All of that, Sharif William, and thank you for joining us on this Friday, the 14th of November, edition of the SKTV show. I think the last time we wanted you here was sometime last month. Am I correct? Are you getting me? Hello, Dr. Sharif?
Yes, can you hear me, Maybon?
Yes, I'm getting you now. Go ahead. Welcome.
Thank you. I thought we're waiting for the other people to join us.
Yeah, but we can start because of time. We have only about all of this time, all to the time. Maybe when they come, they're already setting up already, so they will join us. But let's move on as we proceed with our discussion up to the time the other team member will join us. But I was asking you, I think our last time hosting you on the show was sometime last month.
It was, I think, 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay, 2 or 3 months ago. Yeah, that's good. But anyway, go ahead, Dr. Sharif. And what's up? Everything?
Oh, okay, fine. It's good.
You getting me?
Yes. I can get you
great.
clear.
Go ahead. I'm asking everything because I think your last appearance here was also about the ANC convention and so forth. Can we chip in on some of these things a little bit before moving straight to our discussion for the day? Maybe by that time, the rest of the other panelists will join us.
I was going to suggest that we leave ANC for now. ANC
I understand,
just...
but you were here, and so the people that want to know maybe a little thing out everything when I was 8.
Okay, so here's the thing about the ANC. ANC at this time, I don't want to discuss because there are a lot of issues that about the ANC that I don't want to go deep into. But what I can say is I'm still a member of the ANC, and Liberia comes first. Liberia is paramount. So, and especially the youth and making a new generation of leaders is a very important thing in Africa, because 60% of the population of Africa is youth, and 73 to 75% of the population of Liberia is youth and young people. And so their welfare and the future of Liberia depends on the young people. That is undisputed. In every aspect of the life of Liberia, whether economic, political, or social or spiritual, the young people have a stake. And this cannot be taken away by any.
Well, thank you, Dr. Sharif. So let's now move on. Thank you, our team, some of the ANC supporters or followers, or those our people are also listening to us via the radio. I think they already get our team a little thing from the entire happening with you and all the ANC, but that's good. Thank you. So, folks, if you're just joining us, we want to say a pleasant good evening and welcome to the Friday edition of the SKTV show. Please give us a like, comment, and share in the 10 minutes past 6. That's the time check. Let me recognize a few of you quickly and go back to our guest on today, Dr. Sherry, who will drill us through into the making a new generation of leadership and a new pathway for Africa's development. That's a broad discussion and discipline. Well, again, James David, good evening, Sadiwan Jabo, good evening, Robert Fasulu Jacqueline, good evening, and Ayusha or Yumunchu Asedu Mensah, one of our strong supporter and a regular follower of this platform. Thank you so much for always following the SKTV all of the time. Yeah, so that I move back. Making a new generation of leadership and a new pathway for Africa's development. What 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 the meaning of that, and what come maybe what you think about this entire thing? Because mind you, there are a lot of elections activities that have been going on, and a lot of young people, they are always for victims after voting after elections and so forth. But you talk about making a new generation of leadership and a new pathway for Africa's development. What say you? What are all this about?
Yes, like I was saying, the population of Africa and even Liberia, the greater percentage of the world. Africa is the most youthful continent in the world, and Liberia shares part of that youthful population of 73 to 75%. But here is what is happening. A lot of time, politicians use the youth to acquire power. And once they get to power, they abandon the youth. And this is one of the reasons why we see that out of the frustration, there are no jobs, there are no proper skills training for the young people. They end up being in the streets. So let's look at how important the youth can be to a nation. Now, if you properly manage your youthful population, what happens in this case is that the youth are going to be a vibrant workforce in the coming years. And so we see that the millennials and the Gen Zs. Let me explain what is a millennium. Those who were born between 1981 to 1996, and Gen Zs are those from 1997 to 2012. These are vibrant youth population who are demanding from society their fair share of God's given opportunity to the land where they were born. We see that the failure of political leadership or tragic failure of political leadership has triggered a lot of upheaval, a lot of struggles within countries. The latest one is Madagascar. We saw how the young people protested for water and electricity in Antananarivo until the government was overthrown. We also see in Burkina Faso that young people like Ibrahim Traore serving the military, when the government, the politicians were not catering to the needs of the young people, they had to demand that change happen. We are beginning to see this trend happening, and this is not something that is going to stop easily. There will be continuous demand and demand by the young people for change if we do not have a proper plan for a youthful population that we have. Here is my take. With 73 to 75% of Liberia's population being youthful, what is prudent for Liberia is the current educational policy we have is theoretical, based on slavery mentality. It's not based on industry requirement, wherein the kind of companies, the kind of work that people need to learn to be able to earn their living. Because you can't make someone be doing all in book, and then they're not able to do something that giving them opportunity to earn money. Like for example, we now have people mining uh, gold and so on. So what the government needs to do is strengthen the educational system, the geological department, for people to learn about mining, so that the young people will have jobs. If you talk about agriculture, it's not just the farming aspect, but there are cash crops that you can train the young people to move into, to be able to earn a livelihood and let most of the natural resources that are in this country be produced here. That will give opportunity to the young people to earn their living and not jump into the street demanding in a violent manner their fair share of God's given opportunity. And so
Wonderful.
my
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed A. Sharif. Thank you. Hold on a little bit. We have our other team of panelists who just joining us. We have Mr. Maurice Dole and Virginia Monk or Cyrus also here with us on this Friday edition. But welcome, Mr. Dole first, then we'll move to Monk. Mr. Dole, good evening and welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mabon. I'm glad to be with you guys tonight, and I'm so happy to see Dr. Sherry coming up to debone on the usefulness of the children. I mean the youth. So I will have three questions when I'm given the opportunity to do so. To ask Mr. Sherry to please make some credits on the question that I have when I'm given the opportunity. Because I'm an elder person, so he is talking about the young people, and that is very good idea. But when I'm given a chance, I would like to ask my question. If the floor is open for me now to ask, I will ask. If it's not, then I will ask when I'm given a chance to do so.
Yeah, so that welcome Monk. After that, then you will ask then Monk too. But Monk, good evening and welcome. We have Dr. Mohammed Sharif for the first segment. At least that will drill us through with the pathway for the young generation, the leadership and so forth. But good evening and welcome.
Well, I'm doing great. It's another day, Friday to be on SKTV. Great to be here. I had no idea about the first segment of the show, but I'm here already, so I'm going to make the adjustment. I'm going to adapt to the flow for the day. But it's nice being here, and welcome to the show as well.
Thank you, my dear brother. Yeah, so Mr. Dollar, thank you, Monk. Actually, yeah, it's not easy, but we have to move on. But again, Mr. Dollar, thank you. So go ahead with your question.
Thank you very much, Mabon, for giving me the. Dr. Sherry, you are 100% welcome again back to
thank you, sir.
SKT. I'm so happy to see you coming out to at least to educate our Liberian people about the usefulness of the youth. But you made mention about something just in your deliberations. That is, you said that the youth demonstrated in Madagascar and made the government to be changed. You were demonstrating against the sitting administration for electricity and water. And he didn't stop until the government removed. Then he said, in Burkina Faso, you make mention the two countries as a case study on this issue here. So, do you think that that is the best option for the youth to begin to be recognized in the political settings in Africa?
That you see, revolution sometimes is the older generation that impose it. When a government or a system of governance or the structure of the community not allowing what we call succession planning, when you're moving from there, another group of people are supposed to be coming there, you set it up. For example, in the towns and villages, the chiefs, what they do, they they get youth leaders. When they're sitting on case, they bring those young people to listen how they can solve cases. So with that, there is a smooth transition. But we noticed that in Liberia here, or most areas in Africa. Take for example what happened in Cameroon, and Tanzania. People are not giving opportunity to young people to grow, even professionally, even in office. You can come with your qualification, maybe you get first degree or master's. The person will say, I've been here 30 years, I didn't get promotion. Why I want to promote this young person? You need to understand that knowledge, they're not bringing the young person, not supposed to consider on top of the older person, because the older person has the knowledge. But at the same time, the older person need to give the young people opportunity to grow by learning how to manage, because at the end, 60 something, 70 something, you will get tired. It is something you will get tired. You, like I say, you go 100, you will get tired. Somebody just got to take over from you. So if you don't train the person, you don't give opportunity to people to learn about leadership, how to manage leadership, they will take it by force. I'll give you an example. Paul Kagame. When the issue of the Hutus and the Tutsi, Juliani Habyarimana refused to give chance to a certain group of people. When you oppress people, when you suppress people, they will jump in the street. They will rebel against you. We saw this happen in Liberia. Liberians got tired with the system of governance that existed, that oppressed people over 100 years plus. I don't want to go deep into the complexity, but Doe was just a victim of the circumstances that existed that oppressed people. And we saw that hatred that was embedded in the hearts of people, they unleash it out in a violent manner because they didn't allow people to grow into leadership. Because if you allow the fair movement of people from one level to another, they know there is a clear pathway to go up in life. They will not cause problem. But if certain people who get dictatorship mentality or slavery, anybody you see oppressing people, that person, that slave mentality they get. They believe that since they were oppressed, or they believe that their grandparents were oppressed, they believe that oppressing the next person is the only thing they have learned. And so that is why when people like Paul Bier, he grew up learning that colonialism is the best way to keep other people under their control. You go to Cape Verde, you go to other places. That's what they know. And so they will hold on to power and they will not want to leave it. You go to Uganda, Museveni. They joined together and remove Milton Obuti. They move Idi Amin. He is a king there. And you see what happening now in Uganda, Bobby Wine, the young people are demanding change. And his son, he has made his son chief of defense staff. So all of these ones can save you as a nation when you decide to oppress the young people. But when you give young people the fair opportunity to grow, it's a blessing to that country. My argument here is there should be system for people to grow at every level, whether that in the church, in the mosques, in politics, in education, in the workplace. Young people should have opportunity to grow. And the generation that not get joke is the millennial and the Gen Z. The people born between 1981 to 1996, or from 97 to 2012, the Gen Z who dealing with technology, they see what happening in Burkina Faso, they see what happening in America, they see what happening, like what happened the Arab Spring. We saw somebody light fire on their cell in Algeria. Before you look, it happened in Egypt. Before you look, it happened in Iraq. Before you look, it happening all over, because information is available to Generation Z, the Gen Zs, the millennium. People begin to see that, oh, the same thing that happening to us here is happening on that side. And so this is the step that people took, a radical step that changed it. We see that this is what led today a 56 years leadership of the Assad family dynasty was removed last year. By who? Another young person who America had on their terrorist list, say the Mulcahy, the most wanted person in the world. Today, Donald Trump welcomed him to what? The White House. So we need to be very careful in a country that has a high population of young people to begin to constructively use the young people to benefit the nation. Because when you use the young people to benefit the nation, like you allow them, like BWI, you allow them to go for training. They are able to learn skills. Some of them are carpenter, masoners, tile layers, electrician, auto electrician. They are earning their living. They know that, okay, I have a skill now. This is what will feed me. But they go to formal school. You fail, you fail, you fail, you fail. Because of the rejection by society, it can make the young people go against the state. And my argument here is, I'm going to give you a chance, but I will lay out some of the way we can address these issues.
All right.
Thank you, Dada Sharif. Mark, I know you've been talking about most of these things, times in, times out, and I think today is another opportunity. And so, what say you, Mark? You're listening to that. Maybe you have questions and follow up and so forth. Then we'll go back to Mr. Dollar. Then, yeah.
Yeah, I'm listening to the brother. I mean, once again, thanks for being here. I mean, it's a very sensitive topic on the issue of youth empowerment, but I'm still trying to get the premise of your argument. Like, are you talking in terms of social mobility? Are you talking about jobs opportunity and the kind of national security risks that Liberia might potentially face if we cannot develop the youth? I just want you to establish a premise before I can ask you a follow question, because you are
Yes,
giving
you have just highlighted the points of my argument. One, there should be social mobility, wherein people know that, okay, if I learn this, I will have opportunity to go up. My life will change from below the poverty line to a middle income person, even if you are not rich, but you are sure of a future, that you are able to build a house, to have a food to eat, and your family will live at least an acceptable life of a human. But if you don't do this, it's a security risk to the nation. Because we have between 73 to 75% of the population. And in Liberia here, we see that we're not seeing succession planning happening. We are not seeing it. Even with political parties. Somebody will want to run the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time. He won't remain there until he die. You won't be there until you die. You won't remain the only voice. And this is what is happening all over Africa. Look at Ivory Coast. Alassane Ouattara, that 4 times he now run. The other man in Cameroon, and the other one in Cape Verde. All of them, the greed. They are making the political space exclusively an old man's club. It's not correct. Okay. They have to have an opportunity for people to have a fair share of the resources God has given. And states need to understand, I'm arguing from the public policy aspect, that even the population of a state, it's a blessing, it's a resource. It's a human resource that you can tap into. If these people are trained, they pay taxes. America and big and Western countries live out of taxes. So our country will not run out of money. because people will have employment and they will pay tax and it will be a stable economy. So you can go ahead, Monk.
Okay, now I can ask my question. Now I got a premise. The thing here is you're making a legitimate argument, but I want you to tread a needle on the complexity when it comes to Liberia, because no two countries are the same. Every country, you can talk about the youth, but you cannot compare the youth of Kenya to the youth of Liberia or the youth of Syria to the youth of Liberia. If you look at the historical context in Liberia, the Gen Z and the millennials, you can say by virtue of the civil conflict, they were the ones that were affected negatively the most. So if you want to make the argument for social mobility, the only way you can achieve social mobility is through policy, and you are a policy expert, you know that. And this policy can only come from the government. So when you're talking about education, it still comes from the government in terms of the kind of structural curriculum you were introduced to shift the mindset of the youth in terms of job preparation and maybe job readiness. So if the education system is broken, then it means you cannot get better policy, because the same youth, we got one of the youngest population in West Africa, right? Maybe 65 to 70% of the population below the age 35 or 30. So if this same youth are,
73 to 75%.
yes, okay. So technically speaking, if you expect this same youth to go to the ballot box and make better decision in order to impact the policy of their own life, how can you make that possible? Because if they were the one affected negatively by virtue of the wallet getting from 85, 90 upward, and they are in majority, and if you are saying that the future was stolen, then it means the outcome or the probability of them making better decision is little to none. So technically speaking, what you are saying, if we keep going to the ballot box to impact policy that will in return create social mobility for the youth, then democratically it will be almost impossible, because if their future has been stolen, if we are not making the investment into the future, then more than likely they won't be making better decisions. So the question is, how do you change this or public policy that will impact them positively if you will be counting on the ballot box to make that decision?
Okay, so here is the first area of my argument. The first area of my argument, I said that the current educational system that exists in Liberia is almost module after it's theoretical, it's module after the slave mentality, that what used to happen, let them go 8 hours a day or 12 hours a day and come in the evening. My argument is industry-based learning. So I was saying that like BWI, the multilateral, the, the technical and vocational institutions, from the calculation I did from review of documents in Liberia, if the Ministry of Education or the government of Liberia can invest a $1.2 billion in a period of 10 years on technical and vocational studies, regardless of who in power, we are able to transform the 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 large youthful population we have, this 73 to 75%, into a useful workforce and a very solid tax base for our country. So it's a form of revenue. If these people are trained and then we give them the right opportunity, the companies that come in, they are able to employ these people, that 10% or 5% or 3% taxation they are paying is able to back up our welfare system, social welfare system or welfare system that we are building, so that there will be stable income for those who have worked hard in their life and will be retiring, and so that they will be able to be getting their pension regularly, so that they too will not be left out. So the issue of my argument about the millennials and the Gen Z is that we should use them in the right way. Not only using them to go out, give them opium, morale booster, political water. I will say they drink and go vote on a single day. Some people even can promise them, young people say, or people say, okay, we'll get your package. We're giving you a package, you'll go vote this way. And people go vote. And after they vote, they just hide, lie to the people. This is what is creating frustration for the young people. There are specifics to Liberia, right? But in a world of technology, to copycat anything, it's so easy. Something that is happening, I'll give you an example. A young naval officer, when you hear a lieutenant in the Navy means a captain equivalent in the Army, challenge the federal state governor, minister, Wiki. In those days, that boy would be so afraid to say, oh, that minister coming, he will back off. When the minister said to him, you are a fool, he said, I'm not a fool, sir. Who are you? He said, I'm an officer, sir. The boy stood his ground. That boy is a Gen Z. So Liberia needs to understand at this time that the world is changing. Information network to young people in this globalization time, there's access to information, and it's having a bulging youth population is both a blessing and it can be a disaster if you don't manage it. And so one of my argument is in the coming 2029 election, we should not consider any joker. Anybody that is a joker that does not have a clear policy focus is not able to engage with the people and has pride, feeling that they cannot talk to people, they cannot go down to the people's level. That's a joker. Because the young people are going to demand. If that kind of person becomes a leader and then the people come up demanding to protest or say something, you say, no, it can't happen. I can't accept it. You are giving the military the opportunity to remove you. And that is what happened to Mark Ravaranan in Antenna Reef in Madagascar. Because when you are not able to serve the interest of the people that elected you, and you feel that you can use the military or security or anything, or sit in your pride, they'll get you out.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Mr. Dollar, go ahead. Ask a question, and I want us to come back home with most of our points. Mr. Dr. Sheriff, at least let you. But that would be my question to you. But Mr. Dollar, go ahead. Mr. Dollar, go ahead.
I got one more question to ask. I think it could be my question could be opinions, something like that. But Dr. Sherry, so based on your explanation right now, do you think that apprenticeship is the best way forward to graduate from the kind of lifestyle that our youth got now to a better life?
I believe that yes, it's one of the pathway, it's one of the ways that somebody who knows a knowledge, you begin to teach the young people gradually. When they begin to see that there's a future, when they learn from you, there's a future of how they will survive, they don't need to worry. And that even will help to address the issue of the drug crisis, because the young people will know that, okay, I have a future. Why are going to take drug? Why jumping in the street to be Zogo? That frustration can send a lot of the young people into the street. So if they have a means of learning through whether apprenticeship or vocational studies, not only the theoretical, you go to university, you go get a degree, you come back, you fold the paper, you lay it down. Then you now get no means to eat. That master degree you were carrying in the market, that PhD you were carrying in the market to eat, you can carry. You can carry it in the market to eat. But if you carpenter, you will get means to eat. If you tile layer, you will get job. If you electrician, somebody will call you, say, can't connect my wire. So what we are arguing is the government and even private sector institutions, like even companies that come in, the government should now start to look at, don't just give concession to approve concession for companies, but let them have a comprehensive training package for the young people in Liberia to benefit in the locality where they are going to be engaged in their concessionaires. And even the faith-based institutions. Now, not only spiritual development, but develop the mind physically as well.
All right. Thank you.
Wonderful, Dr. Sherry. We have probably about 20 more minutes into our discussion for us. But again, I think it's getting interesting. And there are a lot of messages and everything people keep sending back to back. But again, I move back to our own society where they are, our young people have always been seen as people that are not serious, they are not ready, but they have always been used by the politicians. It's time for elections. They go to them, they use them because, mind you, they are the only group of people who are energized to go out on the field, to go into small villages, into the bushes. But then after the elections, they dump them. Why this thing continue to become a trend? Why is it happening?
Because most of the people who are political leaders don't, either they don't know that they are running a security risk, or they are intentionally doing it so that when they're doing the wrong thing, when people jump in the street, they protest, they will say, we're about to do it, but that because you're protested, you're spoil everything. So, there's what they call a dictator's playbook. They look for means to distract the attention of people. But this is what should happen. The young people, we should start to demand, not only from government, but from every level of society, that we need to have a voice. People should not make decisions about our lives while we're not there. We should be on that table. I just forgetting who made this statement, but the person said, if you are not on the table where decision is made, you are going to be the menu on that table that they will eat. If you're not part of the people who sitting on the table to eat, then that they come eat in politics. So now, the young people, we are going to demand that we should have a voice. We should have a space. And we are going to try as much as possible to open the eyes of our people to know that the young people should have a voice. What he made Macron won in France. Right now, in England, you have someone who came from a Nigerian background, Kemi Badwi. She's the leader of the opposition party. So people should start to understand that this generation don't care about racism, don't care about tribalism, don't care about sectionalism. They care about development. Because your tribe will not make you sleep in good place.
Wonderful. So let's move back.
this,
Yes. Quickly to what you were saying before more come up, because that's also go back to what happened quite recently in Tanzania. I guess that all of us have been following in the eastern part of Africa about the little protest situation that happened led to the deaths of so many people, that are destruction of properties and so forth. And the young people there, they were fighting for what they call justice or whatsoever. But what say you at the end of the day, all these things go back to the young people, then more will take over, then we see how best to go to Mr. Dollar. But go ahead. What say you?
So you see, that is what I was saying. When you see that the election, the woman rigged the election and got 98%, for God's sake, is it possible for that woman to get 98% in vote? That white ballot she was getting, the white ballot, the not even election, the white ballot convention, making list, that just list of the people she want in the parliament, the people she wants. So she just made a list and say, to the election commission, say, this is the people I want. That one made people vex. They jump in the street. Nobody know Tanzania for that before, but people got angry. You can't keep doing the same thing and you expect that they will not push against you. To every force, according to Newton's law of motion, there is an equal and opposite reaction. You can't keep pushing people to the wall. They will bounce back. So I'll give you an example about youth frustration. In 2012, Ellen introduced something called cleaning campaign when the young people were cleaning the streets. Time to pay them. Their name, then people were taking their name then off the list in Liberia here. If you can remember, and the children went around rampaging, chunking, throwing stones, damaging people, cars, government cars, even up to the level that they wanted to burn the place. The same evening, that time I think Madam Mary Brown or managing it or who, Ellen had to instruct that they should start paying the young people immediately. Once somebody named there, they should pay them. And once somebody work, people can identify that they work, they should pay them. That is an example. When you push the young people to anger, they can destroy anything. And this is what I want to save Liberia from. By initiating this discussion so that the government will start to look at the educational system and look see how we can address the educational policy and bring a new way about that the people of Liberia and the young people can benefit and have a stable Liberia in the coming years.
Great, thank you, Dr. Sharif. Mark, go ahead. I don't know what is this organization? Are you trying then to establish our organization quickly, maybe in passing before more come on? Dr. Sharif?
No, I'm not establishing an organization.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
You know, I listening to Dr. Sharif elaborate on all the issues he's using all these case studies from around the world. And this is where we keep getting it wrong in Liberia. We assume that things are happening in other countries, so they will automatically happen in Liberia. That's not going to be the case in the case of Liberia. Because when you look at the young people, you said it's about leadership. It's not about who is in power. But the only way you can impact public policy is by coming with a vision and a dream and the urgency of that vision in terms of investment before you can impact, right? That's just how it is. No individual is going to change Liberia. It's not possible. Only government policy can change the youth. So if you got a youth population that are not enlightened at a certain level, okay, look at Kenya. You cannot compare a 21-year-old in Kenya with a 21-year-old in Liberia on average. The one that is in Kenya is way advanced and way smarter than the one that in Liberia. So you can expect that one to push back against the government. In the case of Liberia, that's a whole different ballgame. They are in majority. The vast majority are not connected to politics because no matter, we've been on the radio, the budget was just typical example recently. It was labeled as a budget for the elite, wherein from the president to the vice president to the speaker, the only people that were never included in that budget were the ordinary Liberian. That's why you just say, I think your own quote in politics, if you are not on the table where decisions are made, then you are on the menu. The only people that were on the menu are the youth and the average Liberian. But what was some of the pushback? What was some of the righteous anger, the sentiment coming from the public? What happened in Liberia a few days ago for 1.2 billion budget that does not reflect the aspiration of the common man? By this time, that whole country will be on fire. But you cannot get that in Liberia. So whether we can use Tanzania or Burkina Faso or Kenya, the problem with Liberia case is a whole different case. And that's where the problem is, because it's not only about the government policy or what they get on paper, it's what they are actually doing in reality. Look at how the situation, the conversation changed from the budget to Millennium Challenge. Something that does not benefit the Irishman. But these are the kind of a conversation we keep having. And not only for the young people, even for some of the so-called educated, the older ones, they will switch the narrative. So how a guy like me sitting here will want to believe that things are not going well, and I expect the young people in Liberia to take the lead to demand for something to change on that behalf. No, I don't expect that to happen. The most that could potentially happen, like you said, I think there's only place you and myself will agree wholeheartedly that you could push society down the cliff in terms of some kind of uprising, which you are saying you're trying to prevent, because it's more than inevitable that could potentially happen. But the idea that the young people will say, well, enough is enough. Let's do something. Let's push the government to deliver on things that will make us better, whether it's vocational training, whether it's about job creation. Last time I checked, our government is not even in the business of creating jobs. They're not interested in bringing investors because they believe bringing investors now is not profitable for them. So the new thing they are doing, they are ratifying contracts and giving away contracts with the intention of getting kickbacks. So I cannot sit here on the platform and believe that things will get better for the young people, because in order, even if you're sending to vocational school, at the end of the day, they still need jobs. But if you're not bringing investment into the country in terms of job creation, it becomes useless, even if you're to create or if you're to make some down payment in technical and vocational institutions. Because at the end of the day, whether you went to a traditional college or you went to a hands-on college or technical school, you will still need a job. And who provides job? Investors. That's where the problem is in Liberia. But anyway, let me let you elaborate further. Let me stop there for now. I just wanted to highlight that point from that quote that you say that if you are not on the table, then more than likely you are on the menu. And I think our people, the young people, they are on top of the menu in Liberia. That's just where it is. Right?
Yes, obviously, yes. Like you are saying, I had elaborated on that, that the companies, when government is making negotiations for concession, they should be able to have an aspect of training for the young people, which will enable them to transition after their training into the job market. I did mention that. And also, I did mention that in order to be able to push the government to do something, is the lawmakers. Let's stop just blaming the government as the executive. We have our representations there. And these are the people we elect in the communities to go and represent us. So if we want a positive change, we should also hold the elected representatives to account. Wherein, when somebody went there, they did not perform, we kicked them out. Maryland did something shocking this last election. A sitting speaker, they voted him out. It happened also in Grand Bassa before. They kicked out a sitting Senate pro tem. Bazunga Finlay in favor of Yombli Kanga, who is the Senate pro tem today. It's possible. We had a young person, quote, young person the ball, George Weah as president. When he did not perform to address the needs of the young people who are majority that can vote, he was kicked out. So nobody is a protected cow. But what we are saying is to keep talking and let something click to the government to see that you have to address the issue of the youth. And those in national security also need to keep raising it up with the government. In the national security analysis, we tell you that crime is on the rise, and the number of people that are in prison or pre-trial detainees, and also the increase in the youth population, can be a security risk if we don't address it. So the analysis is clearly seen. And so let the National Security Advisor or the national security agencies, not only NSA, but the police, the military intelligence, and other agencies, talk to the government, fund education, especially technical and vocational training, fund it, help the youth, get them off the street by. There are a number of private technical and vocational institutions established all around the country. Assess some of them, let the government fund some of them through the education program for technical and vocational. So you engage the young people to learn. Most of these things, see, for people to do POP is POP gypsum board that Ghanaians and Nigerians and people from Sierra Leone, Guinea They didn't want him, and they dominated the market. And now Liberians learning it. Kwame Nkrumah saw
let me
this
come in
long
one
ago
second.
and work on it. Go ahead.
Let me come in 1 second before I turn it over to the old hand with and go to break. Okay. You see,
Yeah.
that's my problem. I'm not a policy expert. I'm just making an argument based on the reality in Liberia. And you just made another salient point when it comes to lawmaker. That's why I keep saying on the show, maybe we don't understand democracy. Because the primary duty of lawmakers is to be the gatekeeper for the people. They are the direct representation of the people because they come from the various congressional districts around the country. And their number one job is oversight. That's why I keep telling you, you cannot compare Liberia to no other country in the world. The people who we are looking at, I don't blame president. I believe in a democracy. The power of the president is defined and very limited. The same thing in America. People believe that no, the president is not a powerful president. No, the president is there to be kept in check by lawmakers. The lawmakers happen to be a body with the most power. In the case of Liberia, we don't see that happening from our lawmakers. We don't see a lot of checkpoint being erected. Matter of fact, they are even embedded into corruption more than the executive because look at the budget. The budget go to the House for appropriation, right? It comes from the executive to the House. But how often do you see our lawmaker kind of going against contract and all these illegal agreements that have been signed? They kind of a long 25, 20, 30 years contract. How often do you see a lawmaker in Liberia pushing against the executive in terms of ratifying contract, in terms of procurement? No. Every one of them are on the same train. They might look like they are from a separate branch of government, but operationally they are one of the same. They are just two criminals that was split in two separate groups, one from the executive and one from the lawmaker. And in terms of voting, our people do have a history of changing lawmakers, but they are not seeing the impact based on the changes that they are making at the ballot box. They keep changing individual, but the result remain the same. And that's where the problem is coming from. So I'm not only bashing the executive, but even our lawmakers, they're not even living up to the task because what? They are into a holy marriage with the executive for stealing the people's resources with the expectation that too many young people won't get it as to why it's happening in the country. That's the difference with Liberia. But I'll turn it over to you guys. Maybe after the break before I can come. I don't know.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Mr. Dr. Sherry, Mr. Dollar, we have only about 2 more minutes to go for our news. So I think 30 seconds, please. Mr. Sherry. Or Dr. Sherry, we just close up so that we can go for the break.
I just want to ask you one simple question, then you can close or if it's possible.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Sherry, like 1 month just stated that every election season we always change the lawmakers, but the one then that can be elected, they do the same exactly what the previous one that was changed. So what do you think that the Liberian people need to do to change the kind of mindset?
Okay. I would argue for two things. We need to keep changing. And let us do an experiment and sweep everybody that there in one go. But most of the time, we leave the old people there. When they can, they sit on the old mat to plow the new mat. That's what's happening. But sweep the old mat and burn it if you think that it get lice inside. Take it from there and burn it. Burn that whole mattress. Burn that mattress. And get a new one.
Yeah, you don't think, Mr. Seri, changing the system is the best solution to Liberia problem? Because our system is not abiding to by the Liberian people, the lawmaker, the private citizens, nobody respecting the system, the rule of law. You don't think that is a bigger problem for us?
To change the current system that exists in Liberia is like to tell the Italian government, say, I want you to bring an end to the Costa Nostra, the mafia. You
I
cannot
think
change.
the mafia were eliminated in Italy. one way or other.
They reduce the power of the mafia to a level that they don't function the way they used to do. So what we can do in Liberia is the older generation that are there that been doing this. Why can't we give the young people an opportunity to enter in that house? We're seeing what happening, developments are happening in other countries with their minerals. Let's give a set of young people an opportunity, sweep all of them out. Even political leaders that are not serious. We don't need to give them credence. We give them 0.01%. They'll be out. We can do the same thing to lawmakers. Give them 0. Completely new person that has never been in that system, vote that new person to come in. Let it be a shock. Let it be complete systemic revolution. Voting new generation of leaders. We can do it. All we need to do is to keep reminding the young people that, hey, violence will not be the solution. Don't wait until it get to the level where your heart will cut to go commit violence. But let us use the system that is available to us, that's the ballot box, to change leadership. That's my argument. We can go on break.
Okay.
No, we'll just continue until Melbourne gets back because he still got it on here and he just sent me a message that we should keep the show going until the studio crew join us again after the news bulletin. So we can continue the discussion. Keep going. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah. So Mong and Mr. Dollar, we can go ahead.
Right. I have some tiny issue that caught my mind this week. I would like to bring it to the attention of you and Bazilian Mon. If we can discuss that before the Melbourne come back. That is, my role in life, what I did in my whole life, from my youth time to my old age season, and I was involved in security. And what I do see now in my country, which is Liberia, is the way our national securities are handling crisis is very, very scary to me. One of the point is just recent activity that took place to realize the law enforcement, more especially the police, was sent to realize as a backup to the sheriff, the county sheriff, to evacuate certain people from occupied residents. Instructions were given by the court. And the way they handle the situation is so scary. And I look at it from my security point of view as a security aspect. They handle it very much unprofessionally. They involve the civilians into the operation, which is make it very rampant. And I could see some manhandling that took place, which was not necessary. What do you say about that, Mr. Sere?
I have not actually watched the video in totality. I partially watched it. I might need to watch it again. Maybe in future conversation regarding security, I will be able to do
Okay.
more input into that.
Yeah, basically, I'm not there, you're not there. I mean, you might be on the ground there, you didn't see the video, but what I did saw on the social medias, the securities apparatus, the police that went on the scene there, opened up to the civilians to throw rock at one another. And for me, I believe that it was very much unprofessional. And second is arresting some people. When you arrest people already as a law enforcer, you should be able to protect that person from being harmed. And that was not the case in this thing here. And so they allow some ordinary citizens in the communities to come forward and beat the people out while they are these corporates were in the custodies of the law enforcer. So these are some of the things I'm talking about. And there's a video tape to that effect. And that's what I'm talking about. If I could be someone who to preside over such an operation, I don't think that was the best time for them to move to that end. They could do it lately in the night before daybreak, the whole place is set up. But they didn't do that. They go them broad daylight, knowing fully well that there was a tension going on before, and the tension going to escalate. I don't know what prompted them to do that. So the citizens have a right to come to ask the national security to comment on this operational tactic that they employ in real life, so it cannot happen again elsewhere.
Okay. I'll appreciate you share that video with me. Let me review it myself, and I can do a few write-up on it. Bonbon,
Yes, sir.
what have you to say about what Mr. Dollar just explained?
Well, to be honest, on that stuff, I haven't laid any premise for this whole debacle. I don't know whether it was an eviction sermon or whatsoever happening. The most I saw recently, and I think it's a disservice to our audience on Sktv because we're supposed to talk about that. The problem is I cannot get the foundation of this particular stuff. One minute you see people at the police station, another minute you see police into exchange with angry protesters, some people throwing stones from the other. And so I've been seeing lots and lots of video. But like I said, the foundation, what led to that, whether it was a land dispute, whether it's about I don't know. The last time somebody said even an imam was abused. So if I tell you, I can elaborate further on that, I will be lying to you because I have been seeing the video. I've been seeing people having podcasts, but like I said, the foundation, what led to that, I have no idea. Whether it was a land dispute, whether it was an eviction sermon, I cannot wrap my head around it. Maybe I need to start paying more attention or start doing some further research. But as of today, trust me, I cannot emphatically tell you that I'm fully aware of what's happening. I've only been seeing videos just like you said, popping here and there on the social media, but I can't give you details about what's happening.
Because for me, these are the same thing I'm trying to talk about the youth. Possibly when things like that happen and you have a large population of the youth unemployed, anybody can use them to do anything. And that is a risk to any state. So catering to a burgeoning youth population in any country is a national security priority. Not only economic priority, but a national security priority. So my advice is that the government look at the 73 to 75% youth population and other private sector institutions and religious institutions and those who have access and are able to help young people grow. We should do that. I think it's really, really necessary for us to do that if we should have a safe and secured Liberia in the coming years.
And let me come here a little bit. I mean, like what you just said. You know, the one thing that confuses me, like bro, and our government, the policy, and it seems that the government itself cannot even detect the challenge facing the country, right? because you got physical security, you got national security, which is almost the same as physical security, but then you got economic security and
And human security, the human security.
So the case you just presented, when you look around the world, all the most powerful country in the world, the country in terms of military size, they are the one with the biggest economy. So in order for you to grow a stronger military, you should first have a bigger economy, because the economy can even finance the military. In the case of Liberia, like I said, Liberia is one unique country than any country on the planet, right? You look at the budget, then the budget will tell you, like I said, the budget is always a financial statement about the country's future. We forget about employment, job opportunities, skills training. We never make huge investment. But the government was able to allocate $151 million in national security. Can you imagine that? So I don't know. I mean, it's a very sensitive topic. I hope you will expand on it more. But it just baffles me that if the thing is about youth employment and it's about the future of the country, and there are no social mobility and there are no skills training, how do you allocate $151 million to national security, which is physical security, technically speaking? Because you are literally ignoring the economic aspect, which is the biggest risk. Because the economic security is more of a bigger risk. I don't think like Burkina Faso, Guinea, we're not about to engage in war with Africans. We are not expecting any invader. So if we put $151 million in the budget out of 900 million, because I will put it to 800 million to 900 million the most. I'm not going to put that.
So how much did they allocate for education? Ministry of Education.
I need to double check it, but I think they didn't even increase it by even 5%. Wow. But the national security budget was increased by almost 40% increment. How do you explain that? That's why I keep saying you cannot expect the youth, because even the youth, the one that are in the vast majority that will go to the ballot box and make decisions on behalf of their own future, they don't understand the implication of these things. Because for what you just presented, I will believe that the economic security is the biggest national security threat. The threat is coming from within, from the youth more specifically. That's why everybody is angry in the nation. Every little thing, people spiral out of control because that economic anxiety, they are there. But the government is not even focusing on that. And how can you make the case just by looking at the national budget? The national budget tells you everything. Because I know for a country that want to alleviate and to mitigate the risks of an economic security, you will start investing in job training, vocational education, maybe more money into agriculture, because agriculture is about food security. And when you get food, you know food is a basic necessity. That's how you attack this problem. But you look at our country, look at our budget, and allocate $151 million, and you cannot even boast of even $40 million for education. Just the traditional education, not even the technical aspect or the technical training. So how do you even make that case? That's where the problem is in Liberia. You can only impact this change by making decisions at the ballot box. But yet, the people who are making decisions, the vast majority of whom are expected to make decisions, they don't understand the implication of this thing. I bet you now open the land, there will be more attacks coming your way. They're even venting their anger against the people who are keeping them into slavery. They're not even prioritizing their need. That's what we go through every day on the radio. And you, of all people, know of it. You understand how policy works. You know how these things work. But look at the budget. How do you make the case?
Thank you. President, to buttress what you just said, I have been seeing it before. For time of memorial, security is now about putting more uniformed personnel on the street of the country. Security is about satisfactions. When the citizens are not satisfied with the living condition they're in, then insecurities pop in straight away. So, in order to make the citizens to be satisfied with their lifestyle, is to provide them occupation. This must be something to occupy their mind. What can occupy someone's mind is the job. If you go to work in the morning and work for at least about 8 hours and come home, you will be tired. And you will not be concentrating to go on the street to look for any problem. You will like to take bath and eat and go to bed and ready for the next day. So something is there to occupy your mind. And our governments are not doing this thing then. So you create more insecurity for our nation. The one that you're talking about, huge amount of money in the national security budget. It's baffling me to be realistic because the national security, there's a many ways that the national security can consume the fund in different ways by saying that we on social operation, covert operation, physical operation here and there and rest of it, and that can be the 20 card to consume the fund. But if the government, the central government can focus on job creation, salary medications available for the citizens to have their, when they sick, they not worry about getting good medication to treat themselves. At least people will be relaxing, the mind will be relaxed, there will be a little bit strike on the government. But I don't know why the government, I would from time to time, the government have been cautious because the reason why they investing into this kind of huge amount of money to the national security, from my point of view, is because they themselves create the problem. Because if you're not solving the people problem, then you tend to look at everybody to be your enemies. So when you look at your citizens to be your enemy, then you will not be satisfied with them. What do you do to shut them away? Is to invest into the securities for them to intimidate them and carry on all kinds of unscrupulous or arrests and stuff and things. So these are some of the problems I can see happening in our country.
Yeah. You remember?
Well, thank
I
you.
think.
I come in, Miss Dr. Shavit. Please 30 seconds. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Dollar. We're back after the news break. So, folks, those of you who been on the news break, want to say thanks to all of you for being there, and those of you who also on the SKTV network, also want to say thank you. Thanks to all of you. Yes, indeed. So, Dr. Sharif, we'll have series of talking points. So I think we are already transitioning gradually now into some of our discussion for the day, because the all of the discussion, everything circle around the young people, the society, and so forth. We're listening to you people talking about the issue of security, the issue of what happened at red light. Even there are a lot of young people that were also dancing, singing. They were saying a lot of, in fact, they were using, in fact, saying a lot of things. And this is also bound down to the president's statement about giving jobs to the young people that we're not giving them jobs. They are not becoming a security threat. So, yeah, Mark, we have all of this discussion, issue of the day, the things that have been happening, so forth. And yes, so Dr. Sherry, go ahead. You are in flight.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
So
very well told. Yeah.
some months ago, I did a presentation, I think, on Bottom Line, where I did analysis on the Liberian national security issue, where I talk about external and internal threats, wherein I said for the foreseeable future, Liberia does not have any external threat except for internal that the national security needed to pay attention to, and that the use of money should be allocated for human security, how to address the issue of uh, education, healthcare, and so on. And so I was of the opinion that since the government listened that they should just pay attention to have security during the elections for Ivory Coast and have their team stand by in case refugees come. They did that. They would have gone ahead to look at increasing the budget for education and technical and vocational studies. Because if they don't do that, I don't see I don't see a better Liberia in the 2030s. Really, because we have a youth population that is not ready to take on the responsibility to be able to provide taxation as people retire, and then it will create a whole lot of dependency. Liberia will have to depend on other countries to fund our budget, which would not be okay for us, because when you depend, resource dependency syndrome in public policy shows that when you depend on somebody to fund your budget, or like for example, in my house here, and I get money to feed myself, let's say my wife, children, the person who giving me money will tell me what to do, or it will even detect in your home what you should do.
All
And
right. So let's
so
move back. Mr. Dollar, how are you talking about security? Let's go back to the issue of the rule of law because, man, you all of the things that are happening today, they are all like, if I nobody care anymore, let me just say it this way: that if I the young people, they do things, people take law into their own hands and so forth. And that the other MCC report that Liberia feel when it comes to the issue of rule of law is that we are declaring that, yeah, we can say that, yes, that MCC is truth or maybe truthful to us when it comes to this kind of thing. Mr. Dollar Mark and that of Sherry, but I move to Mr. Dollar. Mr. Dollar, what say you?
Yeah,
Well,
that's a fact because the matter of fact is even the lawmakers themselves are supposed to be the clear example of the rule of law. They are the law broker today. We saw it quite recently when they were removing their past Speaker of the House. They broke every aspect of the rule of law to remove the men from there. Well, who do you expect to protect the law? Those that are supposed to be, those that responsibility to make the law, to draft the law, and give it to the citizen to practice it. They are the main champion of breaking the law. So who do you expect to see the rule of law being protected? So the lawmaker themselves are the law broker instead of making a lawmaker. So the report, Marina, information that came out is a fact. It's a fact that Liberia is today is nothing about rule of law. The president who is there supposed to be making sure that rule of law being respected and implemented to the fullest. He is saying that I will go for the Quran. I will work with the Quran. He did refuse
great.
to work with the appropriate chapter. The appropriate people. But he said I will work with the Quran. That simply means that he knows the rule of law. So obviously I don't know. That's
Let me, let me let me just give you guys a rundown like what we're saying before we come to the rule of law argument here in terms of the numbers, right? Uh the national security are giving $20 billion more than even education. Education is 132 million, right? And we're talking about jobs, we're talking about youth empowerment and agriculture. Do you guys know how much were allocated for the entire agriculture for our nation? $13.6 billion. We're talking about food security. We're talking about job in the agriculture sector because it's a labor-intensive industry. I mean, you can employ more people to make farm, right? And empower farmers and give them loan like agriculture bank. 13.6 million for an entire country in a budget of 1.2 billion. That's why it's allocated for a former agriculture minister being president or men who work in that sector. A budget of 1.2 billion, only 13.6 million for agriculture in the entire country. Then here's the funny part. On social development, 16 million. Do you know how much they allocated for youth and sports? 8,007, 8.7, no, it's not 8.7 million. Yeah, $8.7 million on the entire social development structure, youth and sport and everything included. So tell me, how are you going to, like I said, the most that could happen, like bro, could get a worst case scenario. We are not praying for that, but I think the government themselves will push people to that. I don't know how you can come with such a budget and the sectors that poses the biggest threat and the risks national security wide. You are giving them pennies on the dollar. So I just want to give you guys some numbers before we can continue the conversation because Dr. Sherry talked about it. So I decided to open the budget quickly and give you guys a rundown. That's just what happened. National security, 151 million, healthcare, 101 million, education, 132, agriculture, 13.6, social development, 16 million. That's it. That's the most we have in the budget for now. So we can continue.
Yeah, but more go ahead with the rule of law. Our question I asked when it comes to the rule of law, we fail.
So
On the
how much
MCC.
was allocated to the rule of law?
Well, let me see here. The rule of law will fall under national security too, right?
yeah.
Yeah, everything will be in the national security package because you're talking about the justices, you're talking about the
Now,
court
shall we
system.
the rule of law, but you have more money.
Continue.
But it's just that maybe it's not just being effective. I think that's what I would say.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Dr. Sherry, what the men do is research.
Uh, um, from what I'm hearing, if the MCC had scored Liberia low on rule of law is not only the issue of the police, the army, or the courts. We have people's access to justice, and that's why I argued. Was it yesterday on that? It's important that people should have access to justice through the customary justice system, wherein if you don't want to go through the formal justice system that is here, the criminal justice system that is here, you can use the customary justice system, wherein you people will listen to you. You don't need to pay a lawyer. You explain the situation yourself, and people listen to your case, and you have people who are selected as elders and jurors to listen to your case and be able to come up with an opinion who is right and who is wrong. And so all of these contribute to assessing the quality of justice that we have. So, and I believe today that our criminal justice procedure has a lot of challenge. Seriously, it has challenge. And even our security sector, they need more training, because crime is improving. The more people sleep and wake up, the more people go through poverty, they develop more criminal mind. So I believe that that scoring is reflective of what is happening in Liberia. To be fair,
let me give you guys some fun facts. Oh, go ahead. Oh, sorry, I thought you were taking a break. Go ahead.
And that is a wake-up call to the government that your failure on the rule of law sends a signal to investors, and it makes them scared to come and invest in Liberia, because it tells them that Liberia is an unstable environment, and that if anything happened to their money they bring in, they will not have justice. So they will not come to invest in that country. So the government needs to take that very seriously.
Mabon, let me give you some fun facts from the same budget, right? And you are getting about the rule of law. They like the old hand said, the rule of law is not about the number of personnel you have in the street. It's just about the system and the ability to follow the law as well. When you look at the budget on national security, they allocated 151 million. Do you know just the Justice Ministry alone, as a standalone ministry, do you know how much allocated for them? $62 million. So it means the Justice Ministry alone got tight. I mean, it got 5 times more than the entire agriculture sector of a country in Liberia. But yet they cannot even pass on rule of law. The Justice Ministry, I'm not talking about the entire budget. I'm not talking about the budget about national security. Just the Justice Ministry as a standalone ministry, they were allocated $62.1 million. But agriculture, was given 13.6 million. You do the math, that's 1 to 5. Now tell me, the Justice Ministry and the Agriculture Ministry, in terms of economic security, which one you think should be prioritized the most?
And that's the question. So let's go back to what you just said, Mark, about the issue of agriculture. Now, yes, it's right. Let's listen to the young people. Wonderful. We're hungry and we want to loot. Thank you. We're hungry. So go ahead, Monk.
Well, that's just why it is. You hearing and chanting already. So that's why I keep telling you, every little thing that happens, like bro, people can spill out of control, right? The anger and the resentment are there. They are just waiting for the least. So in all the things that Sharif been talking about, we're making the same argument, the same case, and he more of an in-depth. I mean, he's very analytical when it comes to that. But the only thing I can predict for Liberia in the worst case scenario, we will get another political uprising. And it will come from the people and will be because of economic issue. It will not be some political leader or somebody on the radio calling for some kind of putting society in a tough situation. But the young people, they are more than likely. You hearing it, they're on video. It's not like something that happening in Leeward County. There is the heart of the nation, right? Most proud of it. We hungry, we want There you go. So, Mabon, there you have it. I don't think anyone need to explain any further. The realities are there. It all depends how the government is going to interpret this thing. Like I said, you don't want to argue, just look at the budget. The budget tells you everything. You know, when you don't even want to understand how government works, just pay attention to the budget. The budget will tell you exactly the vision, the dreams of the president, the aspiration, and the kind of improvement or the social development he want to help push in Liberia when it comes to youth employment. If you see them on the street chanting, that's why. Even maybe why you think people can mark someone to death in Liberia just because of a minor accident?
Yeah, well, if you come to me, ask Dr. Sharif, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, that can actually go ahead. I want you to do most of the talking on this issue because
it's the sport.
Yes.
Dr. Sharif, because not until you see, or if you will see them, it's not even like something that maybe midnight or maybe having stuff, right? But you see people taking stones, taking rocks, taking sticks and so forth, just to mock somebody. But what say you, Dr. Sharif, with the issue of justice? Because it's like
so my take on this is it boils down to so many factors. The first thing is the young people or the people of Liberia are angry. There was at the end of the war, there was no post-traumatic stress disorder treatment, PTSD. So people have this flashback that leads people to have that kind of mindset, because what people know, or the young people know, they grew up knowing violence as the only means of resolving issue. And then also it's compounded by poverty. Most of those people don't have 2 square meals a day. I'll give you an example. 2 weeks ago or a month ago, I interacted, most of the time, with the dread on my hair, the young people, whether they Zogo and whatever, they're not scared to meet with me, to talk to me. So I came across this guy. I've been seeing him in my environment. He been coming once a while. I can get them money to go buy food and eat. So I asked him, I said, okay, I got a few guys that are helping in school. So my boy, what you say? Because I want to see you on the street again. I want you to lead the street. You know what he told me? He said, bro, I want you on the street to die. I don't want to lead the street. He said, because when I lead the street, I go learn, sir, I come back, no job. So it better I lead taking drug, I die. That tells you that frustration is so high among the young people. And if this continues, people continue to demand change. You see, desperately in 2017, there was hopes built on George Weah as a young person, quote, young person, to make that change happen. It didn't work under his administration. And out of anger, President Bouakai was voted. Now, fair enough, he has some number of young people in his administration, and he has been in government for 50 years. I believe that at this time, the government should open up, begin to actually stop buying expensive cars, and pay attention to helping the young people. We are driving down a cliff.
Yes.
We are driving down a cliff that if we don't try to address the anger of the young people by getting the opportunity to get their livelihood. I didn't even watch that video yet. This is my first time seeing it. But like I said, when the young people are hungry, they get angry. That's what Bob Marley said. A hungry man is an angry man. We need to find livelihood for these people. Let there be opportunity for succession and also social mobility. Let us stop this stratification. you should be down the poverty ladder. These people should go up. Who should be up? Who should be down? We should give people the fair chance of going up in life and having opportunities equally, because they went to school with people. The next day you see your classmate driving jeep, but you going red light, or you walking, you're hungry. The life is not too fair in Liberia. Seriously, the injustice in Liberia, in terms of social justice, is really bad, and it's making people very angry. So they need to pay attention to that security risk. You can go to the line.
Maybe before you go to the line, I got one controversial point to make, and people always talk about the rehabilitation thing. And to me, sometimes it doesn't make sense, because the millennials, people that were born in the early 80s, the 81, I think they were the generation that saw the worst of Liberia, right? When I was in Liberia, if you want to talk about the war, we would say 1990, the auto pause, the April 6th. So it means the generation Z, they were not even born. But things that I've seen in Liberia from this generation that wasn't even born during the war, because I lived the entire war, things that I never saw happening. We were the most traumatized generation. How in the war, people that were never born before the war are even weaker than the people that went through the entire war?
And that's the
Because it can still baffle me. Their school years were never interrupted. My school year were interrupted. 1990, 1992, 96, I remember Cali school got to shut down. Some of us had no option but to attend different school, just to be exercising our brain until the Cali school could reopen in Liberia. So how in the war you can tell me the Generation Z's and Generation Alpha that never saw the war, they are more damaged, they are more dangerous than the people that went through the entire war? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, let's hear from our people. Maybe
Okay, let me just make a point on that. You know, genetics, genetic transfer, DNA materials transfer from the mother and the father of the war and trauma. So it plays that's more scientific, and also they grew up in refugee camps. They grew up seeing and hearing sounds around them. They did not participate in the war, the Gen Zs, but yes, they, as children, their mothers and fathers, there was these shocks and so on, and so it has an effect. You see, even in
Thank you.
Japan, 70
Thank you.
years
Thank you so
ago.
much. That please that go to the line to interact with our people. We'll come back. I'll leave our party so that we can. Yeah, David. Yes, David can go ahead. Go even 1 minute, please. No time. Gotta go.
Our guest, one strand of very good point. Just today, we had similar conversation. I said to somebody, I said, our generation, we saw a horrible thing. But the guy who was just born 2002, 2001, 2003, 2004, these are the horrible people who got in the society. These are people who fought the war. Today they got feeling for people. But the guy never fought the war. But they got a mind to take scissors and shoot somebody and kill them. They have the mind to take machete and cut somebody in and take their motorbike away. Why you think situation like this? And you heard the young people yesterday chanting, we are hungry, we want loot, and the police are backing them. The police are backing them in the process. So where are we now with the rule of law? The people got issues, and they call the police to come and settle it. Now the police will look at those young people and say, just go ahead, and soon the people will be a backup.
Wow.
All right, keep your calls coming. We'll take one more call, 1 or 2 more calls quickly. We gotta go. We're faced with some technical issues back here quickly. So this caller, good evening.
Good evening, neighbor. Good evening to your knowledge.
Yeah, my dear, go ahead.
On behalf of my children and I want to say thank you to Mr. Dollar, and also thank you for the discussion. I mean, whenever I want to get detail on anything, once I turn to the talk show, people make everything simple. I want to say thank you very much for the education.
Thank you too, ma, for also being part of us this evening. Keep your calls coming 0770-203-125. Take a few more calls and cross over to our team of panelists so that we can go home. Yeah, the weather here back home is not easy. I don't know, is that a climate change? Yes, today caller quickly. Good evening.
Good evening, neighbor. How are you today?
Yeah, we're okay. Go ahead.
My name is Musa. I'm calling you from Brooklyn. There's a music that used to be
boy used to sing after the war. Baby born, baby. I don't know whether you heard it. You know, one of the attributing factor I can say is that, you know, the demobilization, the trauma counseling, and other thing. If you listen to former President Ellen Johnson, she said that was one of our major regrets. And by admitting to that major regret, it doesn't mean that probably maybe she couldn't have done it, but because the way in which our peace process went ahead, the issue of bygone be bygone, the issue of all kind of things.
All right, thank you. We gotta go, people. Yeah, thanks to all of you. Yeah, Mark, Dr. Sharif and Mr. Dollar, we faced with a series of technical issues, so I think we gotta go home. See all of you on tomorrow by the grace of God. I sincerely apologize for the abrupt
break
end of the show. Yes, but we gotta go.
I'll let Dr. just get a closing that he take us home where he point, and then we can just call it at least 1 minute or 1.5 minutes, and that's it. So then we can just let it go.
So in closing, I would encourage the government to constructively find a way to address the youth problem. And that's why I'm here to talk about it. I'm available, whoever needs my assistance so that we can help our country. Let's do it. Liberia is all we have. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. See you.
All right. So, maybe I'm leaving. Let me just give my closing argument. To be honest, I'm praying for my country. I hope our security apparatus will be professional in handling the situation. When there's a crisis, they are the people that the citizens depend on to protect everybody. They should not protect people on a cherry picking system. They should not be cherry picking in protecting people. They should protect people across the board. That is the best professional way of protecting people. The way they performed, they feel they are seriously have problem with it. I hoped they will change their mindset and their tactics of handling the situation. Thank you very much. Have a lovely night, Dr. Sherry. Thank you very much for coming tonight.
Thank you, sir.
You another day again. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye, sir.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it